Nicholas Hammond is back for this Spider-Man film, which is equal parts sexually charged and just plain stupid. I love it and I hate it at the same time. Now let's swing into the unaired Marvel movie, Spider-Man Strikes Back. The film begins with a pretty original concept where there's a jumper on the edge of a very tall building. Haven't seen that before. The police captain, Captain Barbera, is half hanging out the window and trying to convince her not to jump.
I'll jump right now, I swear!
Listen, if you do that, you never get a chance to see your boyfriend again!
I don't want to see him.
Wow, that's the best argument you could make. But that's the cue for our wall-crawling friend to spring into action. Come here, little girl. I'm gonna save you. After Spider-Creep saves her, we meet his alter ego, Peter Parker, still working at the Daily Bugle. And he's chit-chatting with the new character, Rita, who is Jonah's assistant. And she's actually really cool. She plays that sassy, no-nonsense, righteous woman that you don't want to mess with. And I like her.
Well, I got some friends too. That could make it very difficult for him to keep the tires on his rolls, if you know what I mean.
Rita, you are terrific.
Then they're interrupted by Jameson, and we all remember Jameson, right? Firm but fair, still with a nice head of hair, knows what to say and what to wear. Who the fuck is that guy? Now that's a recast I didn't get told about. Oh, and he's kind of an asshole.
If I'd have wanted a partner to help me make decisions here, I'd have gotten one 30 years ago.
Just gonna give you a heads up now, there's a lot of different locations used in this film, so we will be moving relatively quickly through it. Speaking of that, now we're traveling to Miami.
I'm out here in Miami.
Looking for the hoochie daddies. Sometimes I don't like myself either. Here we have a different news company that has tasked Miss Hoffman. That is her name. Nothing says sex appeal like the word Hoffman. But not you, buddy, you're my boo. Anyway, her job is to get an interview with Spider-Man. And Hoffman's been given this case because, and I quote, she has a way with men. Whatever that's meant to mean. She was also given a name to help kickstart her search to find Spider-Man.
Peter Parker.
Meanwhile, our youthful Peter is still in class, and him and half his peers are pissed off with the professor. Because somehow he's gotten all the clearances to build a reactor at the school, which means bringing plutonium on site, which is the active ingredient inside atomic bombs. I just have no idea why he would discuss with the class that he's bringing a very dangerous chemical to the school. Oh, and he also tells them exactly where he's keeping it. In the safe room. Yeah, right, buddy. This is a recipe for disaster. When the class was over, 3 of Peter's peers schemed together and planned to steal the plutonium. Why, you ask? To show the professor it's too dangerous and that it can be stolen. Okay, so I guess it's a real go with the flow kind of day. Peter doesn't hear this plan because he has to run back to the Bugle for his being summoned. Enter the lovely Miss Hoffman.
How nice to meet you. I have been looking forward to this.
Well, it's very nice to meet you too, Miss.
Ms. Hoffman.
And Peter, here's the best part. She's gonna follow you around like a lost dog until she gets an interview with Spider-Man. Because in this film, everyone's kind of accepted that Peter and Spider-Man are best friends. Peter has no other option than to begrudgingly accept. Oh no, Miss Hoffman, are you following me? God, do you have a crush on me or something like that? Oh my god, I don't like you like that. Judge, shut up. But the team up doesn't last long because Peter's spider sense kicks in and it goes off like a fucking ambulance. He makes an excuse that he has to go to class, but instead he has to stop a break-in at the university. Also, in this variation of Spider-Man, the Spidey sense is just used to see what's happening elsewhere, rather than, like, if he's in danger himself. When Spidey finally reaches the safe room, the plutonium has already been stolen. And the security guard actually sees Spider-Man climbing back out the window when he's escaping. So now he's suspect number 1 in the case of the stolen plutonium. Also, after Barbera shows up, Peter runs into the crime scene just to rub salt in the wound and be like, I told you, Professor, it's gonna get stolen. The next day, we're at the thieving student's apartment where they enjoy a hot beverage right next to the radioactive plutonium. They read an article in the newspaper about their heist, and it proclaims that there's no danger that it was stolen, and they think Spider-Man did it. They didn't want people to feel safe that it was missing. They wanted people to be scared that it could possibly get into the wrong hands, hoping that dangerous materials wouldn't be brought to their school again. So now they make the decision to double down on their plan, which is to make a real atomic bomb. What? I just don't understand how they could possibly rationalize this decision. Now we travel all the way to Switzerland where we meet Mr. White, who loves a woman's company, or multiple women's companies. Now in this universe, he's a pretty famous guy. He owns a few recording studios and a record label, but at night he's an illegal arms and weapon dealer. And he's just heard the news that there's loose plutonium in New York, and he's gonna get it. Now arriving back in New York, Mr. White wants to get the plutonium that he thinks Spider-Man has. So, to get to Spider-Man, you've got to get to Peter. So he rings up Peter and asks him to do an interview with him as if he can be the spokesperson for the school because he's doing a story about the recent break-in at the uni. And of course, Hoffman tags along too. When they both arrive, they find out it's a setup and it's a ploy just to capture Peter. But with the help of Peter's emergency lights, they escape. Even though this guy's trying to karate chop the door down. Meanwhile, Barbera's waiting outside Peter's apartment because he asked the professor, is there anyone smart enough to do anything with this plutonium? And the professor said that Peter's the only one that it would be dangerous with. Barbera finally finds Peter the next morning at Hoffman's apartment. He's like to Peter, you and you? Holy crap! He says he just slept on the couch, but I don't know if I believe him. Barbera actually arrests Peter now because Peter doesn't have any alibi for the night. But they do end up releasing him in the very next scene because they can't find any actual evidence that Peter was involved. But this controversy around Peter does lead to JJ firing him from the Daily Bugle.
Parker, you're fired.
Like I said, he's an asshole. And he doesn't even get to keep his press card.
Don't you think maybe I could keep it just as a souvenir?
No? Give it here.
Peter's classmates finally finish the bomb they were building, but one of them unfortunately passes out from too much exposure from radiation and has to be rushed to hospital. Rita gets this report and tells Peter immediately as it might help clear his name. Peter thanks her and quickly rushes to hospital where he finds his classmates and they admit to taking the plutonium. Peter is annoyed with them for good reason. He's like, dude, you really wrecked my life. And you built a bomb?
You built a bomb. To prove how easy it was.
And someone overhears this conversation. Angel, aka Mr. White's right-hand man. Peter then goes to leave, only to be stopped by Hoffman saying that she'll give him $500 for a Spider-Man interview. And she won't leave Peter alone, even going into the bathroom after him. Whoa, Miss Hoffman, calm down! But Peter was luckily slick enough to escape out the window. Spider-Man races over to the student's apartment to find Mr. White's limo already there. Peter also rips off a fake license plate off the limo to find that it's actually registered in LA. I wonder if we're going to use that information later. And to make sure he doesn't get away, he clips a spider tracer under the car. I don't care what you say, that's dope as shit. Inside, Mr. White and his team grab the bomb and plan to sell it to the highest bidder. But not if Spidey can help it. He takes down the karate chopping goon on the roof, but unfortunately Angel surprises him with a bear hug and throws him off the roof. Oh, and to survive the fall, he just shoots a web net so it catches him. Spidey, that's cool as shit. But unfortunately, the criminals have gotten away with the bomb. But on the bright side, Barbera does arrest the right students this time, which clears Peter's name. And in this scene, Barbera has a very honest moment with Peter, when he asks him, do you really think the bomb's going to explode? And I think secretly, Peter wanted to build some tension for the end of the film.
Well, let me put it to you this way. As far as we know, since 1945, everyone who has attempted to explode an atomic bomb has succeeded on the first try.
Peter calls up Rita and asks her if she can run some LA plates to see if there's an address attached. Trust me, Rita knows the right people, and she does it because she's a badass. Rita tells Pete that the car belongs to a Mr. White's company in LA, and he knows he has to go there and stop him. Back at Mr. White's LA house with all the bikini babes, he formulates an even better plan to get more money for this bomb. He's just gonna blackmail the whole of America for $1 billion, or he'll set it off somewhere. Peter, back at the Bugle, has been given his job back, and on top of that, convinces Jameson to finance a trip to LA so he can get the exclusive story about the bomb. But he can't be trusted to go alone, so Jameson and Hoffman are both tagging along. After the flight, Jameson seems very eager to go meet by the pool to figure out a plan. You cheeky old bastard. Meanwhile, Peter's trying to track down the spider tracer on the roof. Hoffman goes to find Peter and spots him on the roof, and he just has to be like, oh yeah, Spider-Man gave this to me. She even flat out asked him too.
Are you Spider-Man?
Do I look like the kind of guy that could run up and down the side of a building?
I don't know what got into me.
Silly. No. He's not. The three of them use the spider tracer to find the limo and get into a heated car chase. Jameson, I think, also shits himself on the way. The pursuit stops when the white limo drops road spikes, so Peter just runs across the road to a motorbike store. Very quickly and easily, Peter convinces the salesman to give him a test ride and just takes the bike. Then the same thing happens to Hoffman as well, as she takes the bike too, pointing to Jameson and says, "Dad's gonna pay for everything." He gave out 2 bikes in the matter of seconds. Imagine if he gave Jameson one.
You know, something like that.
Wait, he did it. He did give Jameson one. This is the worst business model I've ever seen. He didn't check their licenses. Keys were already in the bikes out the front. This is mad. Oh, but look how happy he looks. This one time. Peter races back up to the limo that tries to get away by crashing through a fence. I guess that's not going to be a big expense when you have $1 billion. Peter follows them all the way to what looks like a set of a Western movie. He does a quick costume change and then begins to look for the limo. When a boing sound effect starts playing, and I'm not entirely sure if it's the henchmen playing this sound to try and throw off Peter, or if it's just there to build suspense. Either way, I don't mind. It works for me. Both the henchmen reveal themselves and they're about to face off.
I don't know how you did it, but Angel doesn't fail twice.
There has to be a first time for everything.
When Hoffman crashes right in the middle of them. It still seems Peter cannot get rid of her no matter what he does. After ushering her out of danger, he begins fighting the karate chopping door guy again. And to stop him, he drops a roof on his head. Yeah, so much for that no kill rule, Peter. But Angel does escape with the bomb once again. Oh, and JJ has trouble getting under the broken fence. Once they regroup, they find out the spider tracer's been taken off, so they've got no idea where to find this limo. Peter, not sure where to look next, takes Hoffman to Mr. White Recording Studios, hoping to find some clues there. They ask the lady at the front desk for Mr. White, as Hoffman is a singer and wants to pursue a career with him. While she rats him out to Angel, we get subsidized with this completely royalty-free song they made just for the movie. Peter interrogates the front desk snitch and asks, where the hell did they take Hot Man? Did I really just say Hot Man? God, Jesus. Also, this is the first scary threat we see Peter make.
Are you crazy or something? Leave me alone. Get out of here.
If you don't tell me where they took her, I'm gonna be the craziest person you ever saw.
She points to Mr. White's mansion. And I got to say, Mr. White, you really are a bit of a perv.
Why do I have to dress this way?
2 reasons. 1, because I like women in bikinis. And 2, I feel safer when I know there's no place for them to hide any weapons.
Yeah, I'm gonna call bullshit on the second reason. While Hoffman's being held captive, he tells her he's gonna set the bomb at the governor's conference when the president arrives. Mr. White drives off to go set up the atom bomb, while Spider-Man jumps up to the mansion. Whoa! I wonder what that would look like in reverse. He then beats up the karate guy for the 3rd time. And then he takes on Angel, overpowers him, and webs him up. Spider-Man frees Hoffman and she tells him the approximate location of where they're planting the bomb, so he rushes off to go stop it. Right, so Spider-Man needs to get to the top of this building where they've planted the explosives. I think he forgot that he could climb walls because he goes to a coast helicopter service and convinces the guy to take him up and drop him onto the building because it's a stunt and he's planted an airbag on the top, so he'll be fine. I don't know either. Let's just not look into it. We're not playing with logic in this film anyway. And the pilot's like, yeah, all good. You seem like a fun guy. I'm gonna make this on the house. And you thought the previous bike bit didn't make sense. So Spider-Man jumps out of the helicopter when they get as close as they can to the building. And there's no way I can defend that. I think they actually forgot to film this bit and they were just like, fuck it. Then while falling, he catches Mr. White's escape helicopter with a web and also webs up a harness for himself. Web. web under there and sit. Look, maybe he needed the harness because he's hanging there for a while. But then they conveniently drop him on the building with the bomb on it. Not the smartest, Mr. White. Spider-Man then saves the day by disarming the bomb and snapping a photo with it. While Mr. White flies off in his helicopter and yells out, "We'll meet again." And JJ is so happy with the photo that Peter took for him that he said, "Hey, stay at the resort for the rest of the week on me."
But Mr. Jameson, today is Friday. There are only 2 more days left in the week.
Parker, just take what you can get. Oh, and one last thing. I'm pretty sure Hoffman and Peter bang. Not confirmed, just a vibe I get. Especially when they're talking about him in tights.
Oh, you've never seen me in tights.
That's true. But if you're willing to put some on, I'm willing to reconsider.
Just to let you know, if you did enjoy this one, this is a Spider-Man trilogy, so we have one more film to go where Spider-Man goes to China. And if you do want to watch the first one of this, it's right there. So, have a lovely day, goodbye, see you later, bye, see ya, it's a lot of goodbyes, subscribe, bye.